The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.
Spinal adjustments provided by Dr. Chad Rolfson. The Spinal Tuning Chiropractic Center is a Des Moines area low flat fee per month unlimited chiropractic care practice. When life happens, just adjust. Schedule today at spinaltuning.com. Barbecue provided by Kenny's Rib Wagon. Catering ribs for your pleasure and serving daily at Plaza Pub, 62nd and Douglas in Des Moines across from Merle Hay Mall. Find Kenny's Rib Wagon on Facebook. The thoughts and opinions of this program are strictly those of the host and the guests, not necessarily shared by anyone in the universe, let alone shared by the host and the guest. Dimension, a measurable extent of some kind, such as length, breadth, depth, or height, an aspect or feature of a situation, problem, or thing. Fear, an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. Knowledge, facts, information, and skills acquired by a person through experience or education, the theoretical or practical understanding of a subject, awareness of familiarity gained by experience of a fact or situation. Imagination, the faculty or action of forming new ideas, or images or concepts or external objects not present to the senses. The ability of the mind to be creative or resourceful, the part of the mind that imagines things. A dimension, as vast as space and is as timeless as infinity, between light and dark, somewhere in the middle of science and superstition, lying between fear and knowledge, the dimension of imagination. Welcome to the Daily Planet. I'm Jimmy Olsen. We're going to look at Mother's Day. In fact, happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. Happy Mom's Day to my mom, and her birthday yesterday too, but, this happens every year, but not on the same date. No, it doesn't. In fact, I found these are Mother's Day facts, 20 facts that, according to Town and Country magazine, it's townandcountrymag.com. You can actually go check these out. So, one of those first facts, again, Mother's Day, it is every year, but not on the same day, because it's celebrated on the second Sunday of May. So that means it's always the same day, but not date. In fact, there'll be years that the date is also my mom's birthday, so it's her birthday and Mother's Day on the same day. Another fact about Mother's Day, more calls are made on Mother's Day than any other day of the year. In fact, approximately 122 million calls are made on Mother's Day or around Mother's Day. Mother's Day also the third highest selling holiday for flowers and plants, because everybody buys flowers and plants for their mom. Of course, it's after Christmas and Hanukkah. More people buy flowers and plants for their moms on Mother's Day than any other holiday, but around approximately 1/4 of all flower purchased throughout the year are bought for Mother's Day. But again, it ends up being the third highest, just behind Christmas and Hanukkah. And they were doing some looking, and one of the earliest Mother's Day celebrations happened in ancient Greece. Another fact about Mother's Day, the Greeks would have spring celebrations in honor of Rhea, the goddess of fertility, motherhood, and generation. Now, Mother's Day also the busiest day of the year. Yeah, as we're going through the facts for Mother's Day, the busiest day of the year for restaurants. This is according to the National Restaurant Association. This was back in 2018. About 87 million adults made plans to go to restaurants for Mother's Day. And I know I hear that all the time of people always planning on taking mom out for Mother's Day. I mean, sometimes you have a few that will do more of a brunch or something at home, but many do end up going out to restaurants. I'm not sure how close this is, because this is almost 10 years ago. So this is 2014. So 7 years ago, according to the surveys, censuses and all that, there were 43.5 million moms in the States. Now, these, of course, were women that were between the ages of 15 and 50, and have collectively mothered 95.8 million children in the United States. Now, the moniker mom, where'd that come from? It came from babies, because the first thing that a baby can vocalize is the sound ma, which was in almost every language. The word for mother begins with the letter M and is in some iteration of the ma sound. So that's how you get mom, mother, Mother's Day, Mom's Day. And there is actually history to Mother's Day, believe it or not, because there is history to everything, right? Some little interesting facts about Mother's Day. In fact, the history of Mother's Day began as it was actually a peace-making mission, plan. It happened with peacemaker Ann Jarvis. This was actually during and following the Civil War. So it goes back to the Civil War, where Ann Jarvis made a concerted effort to foster friendship and community between mothers on both sides of the war. So the idea of Mother's Day was actually to bring moms together for both the North and the South during the Civil War. In fact, she started the committee in 1868, which established the first glimmer of today's holiday, but it was Mother's Friendship Day. So it was bringing moms together to be friends. Did not matter on what side they were, to try and bring everyone back together. And her daughter, Ann's daughter, Anna, continued the legacy by creating the official holiday. So she sought to honor her own mother by establishing a intimate day of observance that was very obviously the basis of today's Mother's Day. In fact, the very first Mother's Day was celebrated in 1908. So her daughter kind of took it that step farther. Then Woodrow Wilson, he signed Mother's Day into law in 1914. Now, this was after Anna Jarvis created Mother's Day International Association in order to streamline the intimate day of observance to the second Sunday in May. Woodrow Wilson legitimized the celebration as a nationwide holiday. So this was interesting. The daughter, who kind of, made it a little more concrete in celebration of her mom, would later try to stop what Mother's Day became. In fact, she said it became rather commercialized. Really? Does greed really do that? I mean, look at all the other holidays that we've discussed. I mean, Christmas and Valentine's Day and all these different things. Well, she said that the holiday became a commercialized opportunity for producers to sell flowers, candies, and cards, and Anna Reeves Jarvis felt that this was detracting from the personal and intimate aspect of the holiday, and defied this by starting boycotts, walkouts, and even condemned First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt for using the day as a means of fundraising. In fact, Jarvis would end up going broke. She would use all of her money to fight against Mother's Day, and then ended up dying at the age of 84 in a sanatorium. That's too bad. But yeah, she actually, what she started, her mom started, she continued the legacy and made it a little more of an intimate day for moms, and then later was very upset of what it turned into, and actually was trying to rid Mother's Day, stop what it became, get it back to where it began. Which then we now talk about dollars again. This was in 2018, over $23 billion was spent on Mother's Day. That was an average. They said the average shopper spent about $180 on gifts for mom, and the nationwide total was $4.6 billion. That was spent on jewelry, and $4.4 billion on dinners or other brunches. But yeah, $23 billion. Wow, can you believe that? The most popular gift for Mother's Day, of course, is the greeting card. Every Mother's Day, there are approximately 152 million Mother's Day cards sent. And carnations. Carnations are really tied to Mother's Day. In fact, they have a very special meaning. This going back to not Anne, but her daughter Anna Jarvis. She would use carnations on Mother's Day to symbolize whether your mother was living. In fact, if it was a red carnation, that meant that your mother was still alive. She was still living. But if it was a white carnation, you would use the white carnations, which had meant that she had passed. So that's where the carnations really get tied into Mother's Day. As we're looking at about 20 different interesting facts about Mother's Day. Mother's Day celebrated all over the world in different ways. But in addition to the U.S., Great Britain, Canada, Costa Rica, Samoa, Georgia, Australia, and Thailand, they all have designated celebrations to honor their country's mothers. So it's celebrated all over the world. 36% of Americans plan to buy their mom jewelry on Mother's Day, which, and that was part of that earlier fact when it came to that $23 billion spent every year. And you had about $4.6 billion of that being spent on jewelry. And again, that's which puts it about 36% of Americans plan that. Now, in fact, flowers still remain the most popular gift option, with about 69% of Americans opting the floral present, but some get mom both the flowers and the jewelry. It's not one or the other. Now, some countries, of course, still observe ancient festivals honoring mom. In India, people celebrate Durga Puja, which is a festival that pays homage to the mother's goddess Durga. The festival is a 10-day event that takes place around September to October. And, of course, the United States, women usually have their first kids in their 20s. That's the average. In 2017, the average age for a first-time mother in the United States was about 26.8. Yeah. Not 26, but 26.8, because there's always a point when they it's kind of like, what was it they talked about in China where, there was the average of 2.2 children. It's like, where'd the 0.2 come from? All right, so they're almost to the end of our list for those Mother's Day facts. Beauty salons and spas, they also get a big Mom's Day boost. According to the National Retail Federation, Mother's Day, their people are going to spend about $2 billion on personal services, spa treatments, and other different things for their mothers. I know a lot of times you have mothers and daughters doing that together as a Mother's Day thing, which is kind of fun. And of course, moms are not only only ones who get love on Mother's Day, because grandma does too. Because remember, grandma's a mom as well. In fact, the average American buys 2.8 Mother's Day cards, so most people are buying more than just one for their mom. Many people are opting to buy Mother's Day cards for grandmothers, sisters, and their mother-in-law. So, they're all moms. You even tell your friends Happy Mother's Day, don't you? Well, there you go. The Mother's Day facts, again, from townandcountrymag.com. You can go check this out. And I'll also have it in the notes section, too, that you can go check this out as well. So some great Mother's Day trivia. So if you are going to do any Mother's Day trivia, you need to learn something. Here's what you need to do, all right? Thank you for listening to The Daily Planet. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it on social media, both Facebook and Twitter. You can find me as well there at My Buddy Jimmy, and on YouTube at My Buddy Jimmy 101.
The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.